Okay, so I made a video discussing what features I'd like to see FromSoft implement from Souls-likes made by other developers. Now, someone in the comments said, why would you want homogeneous content? I like games to have different things about them. This commenter clearly just misunderstood or misinterpreted the point of the video because none of the things I brought up were related to content really at all. I only brought up gameplay features. However, I still think that there is something to be gleaned from analyzing such a comment, and that's why I want to talk about gameplay features that have become standards. So I'll start with something as ubiquitous as sprinting. Pretty much every game that comes out has a sprint button. It's something that you come to expect, especially in first-person shooters, but not every game used to have sprint. Halo is the perfect example. Bungie made 3 of the most popular console shooters ever, and never included the ability to sprint, up until Halo Reach, where they put sprinting into the same ability slot as a jetpack or other equipment. Once 343 got a hold of Halo, they added the ability to sprint, and brought Halo's movement more in line with other shooters like Call of Duty. Speaking of Call of Duty, you know another gameplay feature that's become ubiquitous? Sliding. It's something that most games with sprinting have, at least nowadays, but there are a lot of old Call of Duties that had sprinting but no sliding. Instead, if you wanted to maintain your forward momentum, you had to jump into the air, which is something people still do. Now, the ability to sprint and slide have become commonplace, and if they try to release a new Call of Duty without the ability to sprint or slide, that would be completely outrageous. The same can be true for other things. A gameplay system I think should have become ubiquitous in single-player RPGs specifically is the Nemesis system from Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War. Why? Because it simply is just an improvement to replayability, and it creates gameplay moments that are entirely unique for each individual player. I think it's something that should have become a standard in the genre, and it would have probably had it not been patented. Now, does that mean I want developers to be forced to implement the Nemesis system into their game? No. I don't even want them to copy the Nemesis system over verbatim. I want what the Nemesis system provides for the player, and I want other developers to put their own spin on it. When I was playing the first Ascendant open beta, one of my main complaints was that it took systems from Warframe and made no changes or improvements to them. I want there to be changes or improvements. If a developer creates something brand new that's incredible, like the Nemesis system, or makes improvements to already existing features or systems, I want those to propagate into other games of the same genre, or maybe even break through into other genres. I love Warframe's movement system. I think it's better than a vast majority of games with fast-paced movement. So, I want there to be other games with that type of movement, with changes or improvements. I don't want games to be homogeneous, but I do want improvements to features to become the new baseline for future improvements. Because I think it's entirely possible for a developer to make such a massive improvement to a feature or system that if it's not adopted, it would make other games in the same genre seem worse in comparison. Lies of P is one of the games that I think does this with its improvement to the healing item. I want FromSoft to implement Lies of P's improvement to the healing item, and I want them to make their own changes and improvements. So, it's not that I want the content to be homogeneous, it's that I want the features to be improved and those improvements to be propagated across games in the same genre. And I feel like that's something that I failed to get across, which that's my fault. But anyway, that's pretty much all that I wanted to say.